Today I want to talk about the planned tech visa for South Africa. Okay, so there was a recent announcement by the President of South Africa that they're working on a tech visa, but it's not a big secret that they at the moment do not really have any very precise ideas what such a tech visa should entail and what should be covered by it. And so for this video I was thinking that at least I can share my experiences in other countries in the world, and I looked at France, the UK, at Singapore, I even looked at South America, and work out some common themes, and some common themes to give maybe the Department of Home Affairs and the DTI some ideas how such a tech visa could be done in South Africa and how it would add value, and maybe also to show that actually a minimum investment is normally not required. So what are the usual requirements for a tech visa? And of course they depend on the countries, but there are some common themes. So number one is really that you can always take your family with. That's a given. The most tech visas or founders visas or startup visas, they're all synonyms really. They are normally issued for 3 to 4 years. France 3 years renewable. I think the UK is planning now 4 years renewable, Ireland 2 years. So there's a range, right? Then normally these offer a clear path to residency. In a South African context, permanent residency. Okay, so that's important. The interesting, when I did some research for this short video, was that most countries do not require a minimum investment. So they don't require $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 or whatever. What they actually require mostly is that the founder can prove a salary per month in the last 12 months, exceeding a certain threshold. And these thresholds are quite high. Sometimes they're 15, 20,000 US dollars, 20,000 euros, depending on the country you look at. So they're looking at salary for the founder, okay? Not investment. And then the second big criteria is really that usually in a lot of locations, your startup needs to be registered with a business incubator, okay? Or with a government organization association covering basically tech startups, incubators. And in a South African context, that could be done quite easily because we have actually quite a lot of incubators. And to maybe just name a few, it could be the Founders Factory, Grindstone, Startup Bootcamp, who we assisted as well. It could be Auric or Injuni, and I think they're in Johannesburg. So there's quite a lot of incubators, and if you're registered with them and if you're in their program, you would already qualify for that startup visa, right? So the government doesn't have to check certain things and verify information. They leave it up to the incubators. In France, for instance, you can also be registered with one of the tech capitals. Then you also qualify for a tech startup or the founders visa. So I think that's really cool. In the UK, they just issued a new innovator visa, by the way. They're replacing the old startup visa. And there they're really looking at a business plan. And the business plan needs to be approved by I think 3 or 4 different organizations. There's quite a high fee for that, £1,000. And the business plan really has to be innovative because it's an innovator visa, and it needs to be scalable, and it needs to be viable. So it's quite a broad thing, right? And again, there is no minimum investment. Sure, you need the funds to scale. I think that's important, but there's no prescribed minimum investment. And then I think the last common criteria or theme is that the tech startup visa is not just available for one founder. It is actually available to all the founders of one specific startup. Because in reality, a lot of times there are 2 or 3 founders and they can apply for the same startup. Okay, so that I think is really important. So in South African context, I think we should go the incubator route. We have them. You can go Silicon Cape route. You can put a special unit under the DTI. So these are all ideas I think we could come up with, and we should definitely do it. And I hope our government soon gets the legislation out there to give another boost to our growing tech startup scene in Cape Town, but also in Johannesburg. So I think that would be really cool, and the economy would really benefit it, and also our young people. It would be, I think, highly needed and useful. All right, please tune in for the other videos, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.